Yo, let's turn this hat into this hat. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and welcome to another episode of Shop Life. Today we're gonna be pressing some shirts, stitching some hats, getting ready for this festival. So I wanted to put you on, show you everything that I've been doing. If you follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV, chances are you've seen me running back and forth from this machine back to the heat press and vice versa. That's kind of what life has been like for these last 2 weeks to 3 weeks getting prepped for this festival. So I wanted to make a video and show you guys what that actually looks like. So let's start hooping this hat and getting it going on my Ricoma MT-1501 embroidery machine. I'm gonna try to do this without getting my big ass arm in the way. Here's the hat hooping station. We're gonna flip out the sweatband. This little lip right here, sweatband is gonna go underneath this thing right here. I'm lining up this seam with this little line on that flap. See if I get the camera in there to show you. Sweatband, that little flap, center of it, center of that flap. Now you bring this little band over. And you want to put it right at the bill, right where the seam of the crown meets the bill. Bring that down, slap it in place. Now that this is hooped, take this off. We already got our design loaded up in the machine. Everything's in place. I'm gonna center that up. I'm gonna pick my thread. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I got the right thread going. This is gonna be 3 stops on this embroidery job. So it's gonna lay down the triangles first. I'll use this one as an example. So it's gonna lay down these triangles first, and then the machine's gonna stop. It's gonna allow me to put the foam down for the LA. It's gonna do a base layer stitch on the foam just to lock the foam down. And then it's gonna stop again. And then it's gonna do the coverage all over the foam, which is gonna give us this 3D puff look. So it's gonna stitch the brown triangles first, stop, put the foam down. It's gonna lay down a base layer, stop, and then it's gonna actually go all the way through. All right, so here's the thread screen right here. So what we wanna do is we want number 5 spool is gonna be the brown. And then this is the next stop, which is gonna be 7 for white, and then 7 again for white as the coverage. So remember, the first stop is gonna be the base layer stitch, which is just gonna lock the foam in place so it doesn't move around. And then it's gonna go over with the coverage stitch, which is the last one. So we got brown, white, white. Press OK. Now we're good to go. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. Here's our design. We're gonna lock the machine. Now it's ready to go. Start. Now as that's running, I need to go over here. The press is fully heated up. Now we can start doing some of these neck labels. All right, now that we have my hat press fully heated up to 320 degrees, 15 seconds, we're gonna start knocking down some of these neck labels right here. I already pulled the neck label out, but this is an AS color heavy fade shirt. That's actually what I'm wearing right here too. So we're gonna be pressing neck labels into this shirt right here, size small. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit closer for you so you can see. Here's a little bit of a sample of the neck label. If you can see that, this measures at 2 inches by 2 inches. Does your neck labels have to be this size? No. You can make your neck label whatever size you want. You can put whatever information you want onto the neck label. This is what's on mine. The size, my logo, my website, that's it. That's what I choose to do. You could do whatever you want to do. Now let's get into these things. This right here is my Heat Press Nation cap press. This is the Signature Series hat press. This is the one that has the removable Bottom platinums, everybody's favorite thing. This is just a t-shirt sleeve that I slid over this thing, only because it makes sliding the t-shirt on and off a lot easier instead of sliding it directly onto the rubber. So this is just a standard t-shirt sleeve that I cut, slid over just to cover up the rubber. Now, we're gonna lay the t-shirt over, collar gets folded down. Remember, we're not stretching out the collar because this little thing right here is smaller than the human head. The human head sliding their head into this shirt is gonna stretch the collar out more than this is right here. We're gonna pre-press. This is a Supacolor wearable transfer. In case anybody was asking, I just throw these on the bottom of all my gang sheets if there's room, so I have extra size labels whenever I'm doing this. So since this is a Supacolor wearable transfer, heat press is set up to 320 degrees, 15 seconds. This heat press right here is an auto open heat press. Pops up, hot peel, done. This is what it looks like. And let's keep going. All right, now that we're doing these, the embroidery machine's about to stop so I can put the foam down. So let me take you over there so I can show you exactly how I lay the foam down, tape it in place, and all that good stuff. So let's get to it. So now that the brown is stitched on, ready to go, it stops so I can lay down the foam. What I do is I put tape on the foam, line up the center of this piece of foam with the center of the cap. I cut this foam right here to 3 inches by 3 inches. The LA logo is slightly smaller than that, but I just give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Now that that's on, we'll press start. So like I said, it's gonna lay down a base layer stitch first. And this is just gonna lock down the foam. So like I said, all it did was just lay down an outline of the actual LA logo. So now I don't need this tape no more because the foam's not going nowhere. It's stuck on because it's stitched all the way through the design just to lock this in. So now I'm gonna press start again. And now it's gonna lay down the whole coverage of stitches over the foam to give it that 3D puff look. And now just like that, we're back to doing more neck labels. So after we get these neck labels done, we'll start pressing out on the actual t-shirts. I got some white shirts I gotta do neck labels for also, and then press those t-shirts also while running more hats. Here's a little fun fact. I keep all my neck labels in these little containers like this. So I just cut them down and then I stick them in these little buckets and then they go into that little toolbox right there. And this is how they come on the gang sheets. So like I said, if I have room on the bottom of any gang sheets that I do, I usually just throw them on there. I order my transfers by the hundreds, so I have a ton of these all the time. Here goes some more right here. If there's room on a gang sheet, I throw these on. So this is the coverage right here. Everything that's red and blue has already been stitched. Everything in this darker gray color is still working. I'm only doing 500 stitches a minute right now. This thing could do 1,000, but for this design right here, I slow it down just so I get the best coverage possible. I'm not going for speed, I'm going for best coverage. And then up here is how many stitches total is in the design. So 7,406 stitches. This machine does 1,000 stitches a minute. So you could do the math on how long one hat takes. And this is basically what it looks like day to day around here. Embroidery machines going, pressing shirts, stitching hats. This is a normal, regular day. Since we're in festival prep mode, we're getting ready for this big festival coming up. Our volume is a little bit higher than normal because we're getting ready. We're bringing tons of different t-shirt designs, different colorways, Size offerings are going to be size small to 3X. I probably have 8 to 10 different designs that I'm bringing in different colorways, and then a few different hats. As you see, this hat that I'm stitching up right now is a festival exclusive, so you can only buy that colorway at the festival, as well as this one right here. So this is a two-tone A-frame hat. This one is a festival exclusive, and this one is a festival exclusive. So with the brown, these right here can only be bought at the festival this weekend. Outside of that, they usually look like this, plain, simple colors. So we'll have a good selection of stuff. So let me show you some of the t-shirts that we already did. Sorry for the horrible lighting in here. These crop tops right here are gonna be for women. These are on AS Color faded crops. Here's a little close-up of the design. Raised right, raised on Island Music. Let me move these out the way. So we got some pre-folded stuff already. 3X, 2X, extra large, large, medium, small. Here's more. Large, extra large, XXX, triple X. That's this logo right here, the Island Made. What else do we got up under here? We got this one right here. Los Angeles to Honolulu, connected over the Pacific. And we did these also. Life is Better with Island Music. These are all back prints, by the way. So these shirts right here are basically getting ready to be folded. This right here is these shirts are done section. These are ready to be folded and get ready. So we have the t-shirt folder here. These are just 2 6-foot tables that we have all this stuff on in the middle of the store. Folding section is here, so we could fold these, get these done, and then they're gonna get bagged up into moving bags. So when I say moving bags, I'm talking about these right here. This is basically how we bring everything. So as you can see, this one says extra large tank tops. I put all of the t-shirts in these bags right here. I label them with a sticker, and then this is how I transport them to the actual event. So I don't bring them in these totes no more because it's a little bit easier to stack and pile up these than it is these. These right here, these bags are easy to throw around, stack up, and they could kind of just lay on top of everything else. Like I'm bringing 2 easy ups, I'm bringing 4 tables. I got a ton of stuff coming. So it's easier to transport them in the bags with the handles instead of these totes right here. So now that this hat is done, pull this off. This is what it looks like. You just peel off the foam. Little bit of cleanup that we have to do. There's still foam in the inside of the letters and stuff. We're gonna clean all that up. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So I don't know if the camera's gonna be able to pick this up, but there's like this little brown thread that's still hanging right here. So I'll come in with these little snips, cut that little brown thread off, boom. Now you have foam on the inside of these little like curls inside the A. So you just peel that out. You can use tweezers, you can use your hand. Take that out. This one right here, take that out. Now this is what the hat looks like. So I'm hoping the camera picks this up. I hit it with the heat gun right after this to kind of tighten up the thread and shrink down the foam a little bit. It just cleans everything up and makes it look a lot tighter and neater. So I'll show you what that looks like. So this is what it looks like before the heat gun. Standard Black & Decker heat gun. Turn it on. And I'm just going over this thing, keeping a pretty good distance away from it. I'm not trying to burn the hat. You got to remember, these acrylic wool hats, they react weird underneath the heat. So I just go back and forth over this thing, and you can kind of see the thread tightening up, foam tightening up. Like I said, it just cleans everything up. There it is. This is the finished product after the heat gun. I don't know if the camera's picking this up to actually show the difference, but I just want to show you what the process is like. I guess the other thing that I could show you is how I do the side hit on these hats. When I say side hit, I'm talking about this little $B logo, my little logo. So when I do those, I have to put stabilizer in the hat. This is pre-cut stabilizer. It comes off a big roll. So I usually cut this stuff down. This is tearaway stabilizer. And you have to put that on the inside of the hat right here. So I usually fold out the sweatband, put it in. We hoop the hat same way that we did. Now that stabilizer's in there, we're gonna bring the band over. Make sure this is straight first. Clip that in. Once it's snapped in place, I use these little binder clips to keep the hat nice and tight. Now let's load it up. All right, so stabilizer's in there. It's locked down with the band. We're gonna load this into the machine. Snapped into place. Now I'm gonna position the hat so I could stitch the side now. I'm trying to give you a better angle here of what I'm doing, but I'm pressing these arrows on the side right here, and that's what's moving the hat. So I'm just getting it in position where I actually want the stitching to be. And then I'm gonna move it up. So then that way we could stitch exactly where I want the stitching to be. Right here looks perfect. So we're just gonna press start. Now it's gonna stitch down that little B. All right, hat's done. Release it. Now let's clean it up. All right, so here's the hat. We got one little thread hanging right there, so let's cut that down. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up. Snip that off, and then the inside is where the stabilizer is. All you do, I use tearaway stabilizer, just peel it off, boom. Then you can just snip these little threads in here, done. So now, this is what the finished hat looks like. Front embroidery, side embroidery. I like to put my logo a little bit closer to the edge, right at the fold. So when the hats are staying in storage or just on the shelf, the hats fold in. A lot of people put their logos right on the seam and then it folds kind of weird. So for myself, I like to put it in between the fold and this panel, and that's where the logo sits for myself. So that way, when the hat is folded, it's not folding on the logo, it's folded right in the middle of the fold and this seam of this panel. Hopefully that makes sense to people. Here's a bunch of done hats. I buy my stickers like this on a roll. These are holographic stickers. If you Google search holographic stickers, you'll find a bunch of places that sell these on a roll. So, and you got to remember, these are way more expensive than like regular standard stickers. So metallic stickers are like the ones that New Era uses on their hats, like the gold foil stickers. Those are metallic. Those are expensive. These holographic stickers, they kind of have that rainbow shine. These are very expensive. This is a 2-inch sticker. Take it off the roll. I go based off of the first thread on the bill. Center this thing up with the center of the hat, and this is what the finished product looks like. So I go based off of that first thread, like the thread that's holding the bill together. That's where I place the sticker. First thread, right there, bingo. Done deal. So this hat right here is ready for retail sales. My sticker, my logo, and the actual embroidery. This thing is ready for the festival. Let's get some more done. I don't know if you could see this. Here's my clock up here. It's Thursday. It's 9:18 a.m. on July 17th. The festival that I'm vending at is going down on the 19th and 20th. I want to show you how real time these videos basically are. Today is the 17th. This video is probably going to get uploaded today. It's 9 o'clock and this video might go live at 11 o'clock. But the festival's going down this weekend. So if you're in Southern California, make sure you come out to Alondra Park in Lawndale. This Hawaiian Festival is one of the biggest ones in California and it's 100% free. Now, if you park on the street, it's free. There is a parking garage that they do charge at, but if you find street parking, it's free. But entry into the festival, 100% free. There's food, entertainment, and there's a ton of vendors. I believe there's over 200 of us this year, so it's a good time. It's going down Saturday and Sunday. Come through, say what's up. You don't got to buy nothing from me, but if you just wanted to chop it up and catch a vibe for the weekend, that's where I'll be at. Saturday, it's going down from 10 to 5. Sunday, it's going down 11 to 4. Now, even if you're not Hawaiian, but you wanted to check it out and eat some good food, this is what I would use it for, is to see how the vendors set up their booth. So if you do have your own business, and let's say you're planning on vending somewhere and you want to get an idea of what booth layouts look like, this is a good place to do it. You could see how my booth is set up. You could see how 200 other people set up their booths. This way, take some pictures. You get a good idea on how you want to set up your own booth. Whenever I go to anywhere, it could be a craft fair, it could be a flea market, it could be a festival, it could be a night market, wherever it is, I always pay attention to how people set their booths up, what they use for displays, all that stuff. Because you have to get kind of tricky whenever you're setting up a 10 by 10 booth. You want to maximize your space, but you also want to make it kind of inviting for the customers. So I always pay attention to how people have stuff hung up, how people display their items, where people choose to put their checkout counter if they use a checkout counter system. Sometimes people just wear an apron and they got money right there and they're just like, boom, you want to buy that? Cool, right here, right here. Some people use the actual countertop method. That's what I use. If you just wanted to come out and check out other vendor booths just to get a good idea on how you possibly could set yours up. Maybe you like the way they set up their tent. Maybe you like the way they set up their grid walls. And maybe you like the way this other person displays their t-shirts or hats or tumblers or whatever it is. That way you get a better idea on how it works. So that way when you vend, you could take all of these different ideas and make them work for yourself. All right. Thank you guys for watching this video right here. If you enjoy these shop life videos, please let me know in the comments so I could keep making them for you guys. If you wanted to, follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. That's where I'll be posting a lot of the festival. A lot of the information will be posted on my Instagram. So please follow me if you wanted to. Remember, it's Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.